Intrepid adventurer Mike Jones, just back from the South Pacific, is off on a new journey through time and space. Mike's mission? To save 7 mystic tetrads while he faces the avengers of his fallen foe, the evil Zoda. Now 3 alien clones are hot on his trail through time. Unfold 9 new chapters of adventures to decipher codes, solve mysteries, and battle dragons with heroes of days gone by. Mike won't stop until the tetrads are found, and the Zodas are history. And this is Zoda's Revenge, Startropics 2, from Nintendo, released in 1994, also known as Startropics 2, Zoda's Revenge. How do you say it? It doesn't really matter. Released in 1994 and is the sequel to 1990's Startropics. How about that? Very late in the NES series, one of the last NES games, along with Adventure Island 4 and Wario Woods and all of that. Zoda's Revenge runs through 9 chapters, although the first is story only. Each chapter, besides the first, takes place in a different time and place and holds one or more bosses, multiple areas, many weapons, medicines, obstacles, and puzzles. While the original Startropics took place almost exclusively on a series of tropical islands, its sequel takes place in a variety of locales, such as a caveman era, ancient Egypt, the Wild West, medieval times, and England in old time periods. During the game, Mike meets many important historical and fictional figures throughout this journey. These consist of Cleopatra, Merlin, Sherlock Holmes, Leonardo da Vinci, and King Arthur, who help him achieve his goal for finding the tetrads, humorously modeled after the Tetris pieces, and defeating Zoda's 3 clones. Zoda's Revenge runs on a modified engine of the original Startropics, with health continuing to be measured similar to Zelda. Unlike the original Startropics, Mike is no longer limited to moving in squares and can now move in 8 directions and can change direction in mid-jump. He now uses various weapons, including axes, daggers, katanas, which he gets from Leonardo da Vinci, as well as an upgradable projectile magic attack that you learn from Merlin. As opposed to the island yo-yo, shooting star, and the supernova he had in the first game, only the psychic weapons are affected by the number of heart containers Mike has filled. Occasionally, Mike encounters enemies that react differently depending on which weapon is used to attack. Our story begins with Mike Jones receiving a telepathic message from Mika, the princess of the Argonians, whom Mike had rescued in the previous game. She tells Mike how to solve a cipher that he and his uncle Dr. J found on the side of the Argonian space pod. Mike goes to see Dr. J, and together they solve the cipher and read it out loud. This causes Mike to be flung into the past. He arrives in the Stone Age. After helping a tribe of cavemen retrieve their children from a flesh-eating wild boar, he finds an object, which Mika telepathically identifies as a tetrad, or block, in the Virtual Console version. He must travel to different eras throughout Earth's history and retrieve the rest of the tetrads. During one time jump in which Mike helps Sherlock Holmes prevent a robbery at the museum, he discovers that Zoda is alive in the Holmes time period and trying to collect the tetrads. Mike defeats Zoda again and claims the tetrad that Zoda tried to steal. Based on the fact that Zoda referred to himself as Zoda X, Holmes deduces that there are likely to be a Zoda Y and a Zoda Z. I'm not making that up. It is proven to be true. Not making that up either, as Mike later faces Zoda Y in Transylvania. After he recovers the last of the tetrads, Micah contacts Mike and tells him that Zoda Z has attacked Sea Island, where the Argonians are staying. Mike returns to the present and faces Zoda Z in combat after finally defeating Zoda, the chief of Sea Island, who boasts that Tetris is his middle name. Though the Virtual Console release changes it to Puzzle, he helps Mike put the tetrads together. When they are together, Huracan, leader of the Argonians and Mika's father, appears from the tetrads. He leads the Argonian back to their home planet to rebuild. Before the NES era was about to end, Nintendo of America made a plan to help sell Zoda's Revenge Startropics 2 along with Mega Man 6 and the NES version of Wario's Woods, which were also published or developed by Nintendo North America during the same time. Their plan was to release the top-loading NES 101 for a retail price of $50 to attract consumers to buy the updated version of the NES along with one or more new games. Zoda's Revenge marks the era that Nintendo Integrated Research and Development had the most activity in the software development section. That's Nintendo IRD. During this period, Nintendo IRD was producing the Super NES version of Super Punch-Out, along with Zoda's Revenge Startropics 2. And, what can you say? The game is fairly well received, though I think the first one slightly more so because it's just more well known. Some of the changes in this one I'm not too fond of. I think the music in this game was quite a bit worse overall. There are some that are still pretty good, but some are just, my goodness. The change in the control scheme is kind of nice, though I did not mind the block action segments myself as much. Being able to change your direction in mid-jump is kind of nice, as there are some platforming things you have to do in this game. The weapons are okay, the plot is kind of crap, I think, and the fact that you go through history meeting, you know, some legitimate people, and then it's like, oh yeah, and here's Sherlock Holmes, and here's Merlin, and Merlin is going to teach you how to telepathically fire mind bullets. That's a little goofy. All in all, and let's talk about the Sherlock Holmes thing too. There's a Zoda X, so Sherlock Holmes figures out that there must be a Y and a Z, because no reason at all. That's why. Anyway, if you liked the first game, give this one a try. It's okay. I didn't have as much fun with it, and I would caution you to go into this not expecting to have as much fun. But you might.